Android's dead now. No, it's not that simple. But iPhone 12 is poised to take over the market and I think crush a lot of Android competitors out there if there's any people on the fence that are kind of looking for hardware reasons to stick with an iPhone. But no, yeah, obviously some of you just prefer Android. You don't want to be in the iOS ecosystem. I get that, but to the people who are undecided or don't mind switching back and forth, I think the 12 Max and the regular iPhone 12 are going to be very compelling offers given the leaks we know about them so far and the rumored price points. Apple has kind of trolled the entire market in a way. It's going to be interesting to watch. I'll tell you why. Let's begin. So Apple had this plan all along. Essentially, get people accustomed to the idea of charging $1,000 or more for a phone. And then all your competitors want to outspec your phone. So that's what happened. Galaxy S20, OnePlus phones, they all start getting more and more expensive and they start hitting those higher price points, but they have great resolutions, they got great refresh rates, they got 5G, they've got great cameras. Debatably. So then all the flagships start outspecking your $1,000 model because then they look good on YouTube videos, they look good on tech videos when people are reviewing the phone. See, Samsung has the most superior phone out there, OnePlus has the better specs, but then Apple comes in and decides, hey, we're gonna take the best of all this stuff and package it in a more affordable way so that now the iPhone starts to look cheap. It's kind of genius when you think about it in that way, but there's also some statistics to back it up when it comes to sales. So in Q1 of 2020, iPhone 11 was by far the most popular phone purchased, and you know what? Here's the interesting thing about that. It really wasn't that different from the iPhone XR. I mean, aesthetically, exact same display. There were some new colors. Apple, of course, is very good at marketing, so they can show you, purple and green and just make you believe that this new phone is going to change the world, even if compared to what it did versus the XR, it's like, okay, you got an ultra-wide camera now, you got night mode, that's all you need, right? Oh, centered logo, that too, about an hour more of battery life, and yeah, that's enough for people to go crazy over the iPhone 11, which is selling really, really well. But I think above all, what helped the iPhone 11 the most was the price. They shocked everyone last year when they started at $50 lower than the iPhone XR started at. I did not recall any leakers or analysts claiming that was going to happen, and it did. And it sounds like they might be doing something similar with the iPhone 12 this year, because iPhone 11, iPhone XR, those were the best-selling iPhones, in fact, some of the best-selling phones for the years they were introduced. But there were a lot of reasons people didn't like them, whether you had XR is depressing, or the pixel density is too low, or it's not an OLED display, all kind of techie arguments or things that Androids are used to having on their side. All that should be sort of going away this year, because OLED is going to be standard across the entire lineup. For those who don't know, the displays are going to be pentile OLED panels, which means display resolution increases. Yeah, that's right. So it's not going to be the same 828p we had on the iPhone 11 and XR that people love complaining about, even though in my opinion doesn't really make that big of a difference. But the techies and fandroids of the world are going to have a hard time complaining when now, okay, Apple can have the higher resolutions, and okay, they can have OLED on the cheaper models, because the rumored price of the iPhone 12, not the 12 Max, but the 5.4-inch small model, this thing's going to be rocking the dual camera from the iPhone 11 with ultra-wide night mode and all that, but it's also going to technically support 5G, so you get to check off that marketing box. It's going to have the new squared-off edge design, which, as I've talked about in my Supercycle video, design changes that are noticeable from every angle. That gets a lot of people to upgrade. That is a noticeable design improvement, so that can move inventory because it'll make everybody's old phone feel dated. But that 5.4-inch model is rumored to start at $650, so a whole $50 cheaper than the iPhone 11 lineup started at last year. So Apple's kind of setting themselves up for a perfect storm here. It means that on one end of the spectrum for techies and fandroids that don't like the iPhone 11 and XR because LCD is bad, thick bezels, and dated design, and not even 1080p display, well, the 12 Max and the regular 12 should combat that. I'm not sure if the 5.4-inch iPhone 12 will have a 1080p display, but it'll still be a higher pixel density for sure, and the 12 Max will almost definitely have a 1080p or better display with the pentile OLED panels they're going with this year. So the techies will be happy, but now the average everyday folk that are just looking to upgrade to the new iPhone because they saw an ad for it while they were scrolling through Twitter, they go, hey, that squared off design looks cool, there's some new colors. Apple does their marketing tricks on everyone else, and boom, they see, wait, this one is even cheaper than the iPhone 11 was? I just have to settle with a smaller display? This is a recipe for success, especially when the OnePlus phones are not even that cheap. So yeah, I know OnePlus and Samsung, they have their spec advantages here, but the fact that the Galaxy S20 starts at $1,000 for the cheapest cheapest model and scales all the way up to $1,400, and the iPhone 12 is going to be starting at $650. That's going to attract some eyes. More people are instantly going to be in the market for that, and yeah, I know a lot of people pay on the monthly plans anyway, but still, just the lower starting price, which drastically helped the iPhone 11, which wasn't even that different from the XR in the first place, and now the fact that Apple's best-selling phone is now getting 2 sizes, so there's more options. There's a bunch of people that are going to upgrade that normally don't upgrade because they prefer their smaller phones. They're still happy with their iPhone SEs, the first and second generation. They're still happy with their iPhone 6s and 7s, and they're just not interested in these giant phones. But now they'll be able to get the futuristic and cool looking phone in a smaller footprint, but also everybody who just likes to upgrade their phone every year, who is more than happy with the 6.1 inch display, they will have the 12 Max at the fairly reasonable $750 price point. That's the same killer price point that the iPhone XR originally did so well on, but now you don't have as many compromises. So Apple is basically incentivizing more people to not have to go with the Pro models, and that's why I did a whole video that I think a lot of people misunderstood. So in today's video, I just wanted to set the record straight. In my video about the 12 Pro flopping, I did mean just the 12 Pro. I was not referring to the entire lineup. Yes, I know, average everyday consumers don't care about 120 hertz, but if the Pros are meant for a more techie market, they care about those kind of tech specs. The reason I said the 12 Pro has the potential to flop big time is because the 12 Max at $750, that thing is gonna sell like crazy. Everybody's gonna want it. It's just the right amount of good display size, great camera upgrades, plus we're getting the same A14 chip, which is supposed to be first 5nm chip design and really, really fast hardware, even in the cheaper models as well. So between the price point, the display upgrades, the design upgrades, everything embodied with the 12 and 12 Max iPhones is just going to be like wildfire. Everyone's going to want to buy those things. They're going to sell like crazy. And the people that are going to stick around for telephoto and LiDAR and stainless steel edges, yeah, that number's going to just shrink as OLED is not even exclusive to the Pros anymore. So yeah, that's why I still believe 120 hertz should happen. I think it's important. And before all of you say, well, it's been confirmed because I saw a YouTuber say it was confirmed, it's not. The leakers that other YouTubers are claiming it's confirmed by are saying it's in development, but Apple's not necessarily happy with the results, so they might decide not to do it. Basically, it hasn't been decided on yet, so don't consider that confirmed, people. But regardless of how the 12 Pros do, 12 Max and regular iPhone 12 have just the right specs. They're gonna have little for Androids to keep complaining about, though they'll have something. I'm sure they'll complain about the notch or Face ID or it not having Touch ID or the fact that, you know, you can't put your apps on the bottom part of the home screen. You'll always have something to complain about, but significantly less than previous years, and if Apple really wanted to put the nail in the coffin, then they'll make sure to up the storage options to be 128 gig by default, which there's some rumors suggesting that, so I'm happy to hear. And then after that nail in the coffin, they could, you know, throw the coffin off a cliff by including 18-watt fast chargers on the cheap iPhones. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that either, but if they did start including USB-C to lightning cables and the 18-watt charge brick, even on the super cheap iPhone 12s, oh man, that would just be hilarious to watch from a creator's perspective. All the old Fandroids will have to come up with new jokes because they use the same ones every year. Apple just rebranded the same phone. It's the same thing as before. Still slow chargers, still low resolution. What if all that was gone? They would be like, well, it's still bad though. So I'm hoping Apple does that just to make the best deal they can for you guys. But what do you all think's gonna happen? Feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, and you can make fun of my looks of any particular way, or the fact that you don't think my videos are high quality, or soundproofing, tiles are asymmetrical, any number of things. I'd love to hear all of them. Let me know and I'll take all of it to heart. This is your Apple Shapiro. I'll see you in the next one.